Everybody, welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Nick Kinzel.
And I'm Tom Hoblin.
And woof, what a wild weekend of racing that was in the Pocono Mountains. But before we get into all that, let's talk our diecast of the week. Tom, what you got for us?
Okay, so I'm going to go off script here for a second. My diecast, I built it myself, and it's the NASCAR Lego set for the 75th anniversary that they released at the beginning of the year. So,
nice.
It was cool. It was really fun to build. Doesn't really look anything like any of the Cup cars, but that's okay. I'm happy to see NASCAR expanding out of their box and trying to get into other markets and try to get more fans involved. And if you like Lego, it was a fun build, and cool crossover.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. All right, Nick, what you got for your diecast of the week, buddy?
All right, so this was the car I was going to play last week if I wasn't out sick, but it still works anyway because he went on to win the race at Pocono yesterday. I decided I will bust out car that you got me for my birthday, I think. Good old Denny Hamlin, the rookie car. Got the rookie bumper on, got the rookie stripes back on there. I mean, what a rookie season it was for Denny Hamlin. He swept the Pocono races in his rookie season, which Pocono's a hard track to win at regardless, but to sweep the races in your rookie season, that was impressive. And then, got the win yesterday, so I thought this was the perfect car to bust out.
Yeah, man, absolutely. He's the king of Pocono right now.
7 wins, I think he's got at that racetrack now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pocono's been good too. Would have been 8 if we didn't get disqualified last year, but
Oh, well. All right, guys. So for my diecasts of the week, Cup cars and trucks are going to Richmond. So I thought I had to bust out Kevin Harvick's Richmond win from last year. 2 in a row from winning at Michigan and Richmond. Pretty badass Mobile One paint scheme that he won with as well, too. So hopefully we'll see a repeat this upcoming week because, man, Kevin's been so close. He's been having some fast cars. We just need to pull one into victory lane.
All those Mobile One paint schemes always look good, whatever they're on.
Yeah, absolutely.
They know what they're doing. They got a good color scheme.
Right. All right, guys. So some top stories. Shane Van Gisbergen is going to be returning to the NASCAR Cup Series. He will be making a run at the Indy Road Course. We saw him get his first win in his first Cup Series start at the Chicago Street Course. He just has to survive the madness at Indy because the past couple of years with the road course, it has been wild.
I think the playing field here is going to be a lot more level with how weird the street course was, and then you put the rain on top of it. They were in single file restarts, and they didn't have that typical turn one calamity because the restart zone was around the last corner. So there was some time for him to have his space, and here all the Cup drivers know the track a whole lot better, and turn one is turn one. And I feel like SVG is going to have his wake up call and be like, oh, well, maybe us supercar drivers can't come and do this every week.
Yeah, who knows how it will play out because we got another supercar driver coming in for that race. Name is, I can't think of his name right now.
Kostecki.
Yeah, Kostecki. Yeah, so him and SVG, they've been trading for first place in the supercar points right now. So should be interesting to see those two guys run together in a Cup car.
Yeah, we're talking about this one because it's just surprising because Justin Marks said nobody was coming back for Project 91 this season, but then they announced it after the Kostecki announcement. And last week I was saying that Kamui Kobayashi was running Watkins Glen, but I misspoke. He's running Indy as well. So you have him to deal with, who's a endurance racing champion. And then of course you have Jensen Button again running in the Rick Ware car for that race. So it's I think that this is one of the things that NASCAR wanted with the next gen, was to be able to pull in people like this and be able to have teams field cars for things like this. And it's not such a specific thing anymore. It's a more versatile car, and you can include more people. And that brings, with all these guys driving in it, you're going to bring in F1 fans, you're going to bring in supercar fans, you're going to bring in IMSA fans to watch this race. So I think it's good all around, the more of these guys that we get into the sport.
Yeah, it's a pretty stacked field, so that's going to be an exciting one for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, boys. That is going to be fun. Just a couple weeks away. Also some big news that came out. Justin Haley, really just out of left field here. College driver for the past, 4-5 years, counting his Xfinity tenure down there. Decided that he's going to be going and driving for Rick Ware Racing starting next season. It was announced that they're also going to be having the alliance with RFK Racing. So there's a lot of variables up in the air right now for Justin Haley's future and how it looks.
I think this RFK alliance has a lot to do with why he's going over there. Like, if you're going to attract someone like Justin Haley, who had a home at College for all of these years, he seemed like he was College's #1 guy. But to pull him away, this has got to be something pretty big going on with this technical alliance. So I'm very interested to see that. Otherwise, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But I guess College's already been talking to a lot of other drivers to fill this ride. So it wasn't even a guarantee that Haley was coming back at the end of the year anyways. So yeah, this one was definitely just a weird one, and I just don't know how it's going to work out. But there's got to be something big, something more behind this as to why he felt like this was going to be a good move to make. So I'm interested to see what happens there. Otherwise, I'm just going to laugh my ass off every single week.
Okay. This doesn't, to me, this doesn't seem as dumb of a move as everybody's making it out to be. Rick Ware Racing was fielding a car for Cody Ware, his son, who had his off-track issues, but also had his talent issues.
Mm-hmm.
Every other car he put out there is some old guy who's just like seat filling because they have charters. Rick Ware is making a move to be competitive, and he sought out Justin Haley to do it, who's a young guy who helped build the Colleague program. And this deal with Rick Ware was made a couple weeks. They said around like a week before Chicago or something. So it's been on the table, and there's no animosity from the Atlanta thing. I think this is a good move, and it's a good sign that our famous backmarker team is trying to be more competitive. And I think it could work. Yeah, it's kind of odd that he wants to go from one rebuild to another. But like you said, with the RFK Alliance, Rick Ware works out of the RFK race shop, right? Because that Roush used to field 5 or 6 cup cars every week and a couple of Xfinity. That shop is huge. The resources are there. They're down to 2 cars. So then they can run the Rick Ware shop too. Brad Keselowski is not going to race forever. So you could move up in that direction. Where Justin was at the top of his ladder at Colleague Racing. There is nowhere else to go but Colleague Racing. This gives him an opportunity to do the same thing, but then climb up to a Roush Fenway team who is also on the up and up. So I don't think this is a bad move whatsoever. He's young. He's betting on himself. He reminds me of a different way to do what John Hunter Nemechek is doing.
Yeah, that's really fair there.
I don't think it's as bad as everybody's making it out to be. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see if and what they can do with it.
Right. I just worry because you see the other like Ford satellite teams like Wood Brothers, they got that alliance with Team Penske, and they really haven't been that competitive since Ryan Blaney stepped out of the car. So I'm a little worried. We know Justin Haley, he's still got some growing pains to do in the Cup Series, and I think this is going to be like a kind of a big step back here, and he's going to have a lot of more growing pains to go through. But if it works out well and he does end up getting like an RFK ride in the future, then he played his cards right here. But we'll just have to see how this works out in the future, because we've seen this kind of thing happen before and it ruined a few guys' careers.
It's a gamble for sure, but I mean, also shout out to Rick Ware for jumping off the SHR boat before it was too late. Because if they're getting their help from there and then they're crashing for 30th, like in the Pocono race, like that's not they jumped off at a good time too. So I think everything is pointing in the right direction, but nothing's guaranteed, especially in this sport.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will say it would be cool. Well, yeah, it would be pretty cool to see Rick Ware racing become a little bit more successful, because we've known them to be the back markers. I mean, look at an organization like Spire. When Spire first started off, they were literally the laughingstock joke of NASCAR.
Justin Haley won with that team.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying,
Okay.
there is a non-zero possibility that Justin Haley wins in a Rick Ware car soon. There's a non-zero chance.
Well, yeah, Spire going from being the joke of the sport, and they're running pretty competitive right now with Corey LaJoie, so they're definitely on the uprise. So yeah, maybe Rick Ware's like, oh, maybe we can do the same. So we'll just see how it all works out. It's going to be a big gamble for sure, though. So we'll just have to see all the details that come out with this, and then we'll see next year how it all goes.
And then this is just the Rick Ware side, but then you think with the rumors of AJ Allmendinger going back to Xfinity again next year, there's potentially 2 opened, fairly competitive chartered race cars in the Cup Series. This was the biggest thing when I heard that, and it was a buzz. All the conspiracy theories like, well, Chandler Smith's going to go to Cup. Well, no, he's not. He needs more Xfinity experience. And they're like, well, maybe this is Richard Childress pulling strings to try to get Austin Hill to Cup, Sheldon Creed. Who knows? Maybe they're trying to open up for SVG to come full time next year. It just opened up. This is the epitome of silly season, and it was a fantastic day on just to speculate with the other NASCAR fans on Twitter about all this.
Yeah, I mean, one guy that we have been wondering, like, when is he going to go to Cup? What car is he going to get? Is Austin Hill? Just because there are a lot of cars that are taken right now, and right now this opens things up. Like you said, Kaulig Racing has that alliance with RCR, so I think that is absolutely perfect for Austin Hill. And if you saw on Saturday when Austin Hill won, Chris Rice and Daniel Hemrick dapped him up. So
they went out of their way to find him on his way to victory lane. Like that was telling to me. They say they're not going to have an announcement for another few weeks, but I think that's probably the best direction. And I worry that if they move Chandler Smith up, it's going to be like a John Hunter Nemechek when he went to the 38 car. Like he's not going to be well-versed enough, and he's not going to be getting in that great of equipment to be that bad against these guys who've been doing this for 20 years. So I'd want to pump the brakes on Chandler Smith, but I could see the appeal.
Right. Yeah. I think Hill makes the most sense for that car. I think that's where they're going to go with that direction. And then if Allmendinger goes back down to the Xfinity Series, then who the hell knows? But I also think that they could go the SVG route if Justin Marks doesn't open up that car, that 91 car full time going into next year. I could see Kaulig jumping on that route too.
Yeah, and there was charter talks about is there a charter available for Justin Marks to get, or would he run an open car to get SVG? What happens to Project 91 if he puts it on the track full time? Is that still exist, or was this the plan? The whole, like it's so many rabbit holes and so much fun you can have with this one, and it's just this is what we love about silly season and the merry-go-round of drivers.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah, keeps you going, that's for sure. All right, guys, let's talk Pocono this past weekend. We started off with the trucks on Saturday morning. We had Nick Sanchez and Jake Garcia leading the field to green, and a big hit for a guy who desperately needed some points in this one, Tanner Gray, basically in a must-win situation right now. He's he's shown some promise this year. It's just he's always getting tangled up in some bad luck, but it's coming down to the wire here for the Truck Series. What I think is next
Next
week.
week.
Yeah,
Is
next.
it
Richmond
next?
is
I
the
guess
cutoff.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, Richmond
Richmond's
is
the cutoff.
their last race of the regular season. So Tanner Gray, do or die for the Commonwealth this upcoming weekend.
Tanner, where is he on the points? Oh, he's 12th right now, and they let 10 into their playoffs, so he's 47 points back.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
he's got to win, and he didn't sound too confident on the broadcast that he was going to win. So
Yeah,
it's rough.
yeah, sucks for Tanner, but a guy who needed some points out of this day was Zane Smith. He's been in a big summer slump here, and he swept the first two stages, so he's already locked into the playoffs. So hopefully, this will just help him dive deeper down into the rounds.
But he got caught up in a mess.
Yeah,
because he won those stages, which is what you see with the Pocono strategy, and that kind of stuff. He had winning speed. He could have won that race.
Once again, the summer slump just continues for him. Good for him to get the stage points for sure.
Yeah.
Get the two, to get those playoff points, because other than that, yeah, it has been a real scuffle for him. But a lot of it out of his doing that's just the craziest part, is that a lot of this is not of his doing. Yeah, the strategy put him back there, but just seems he just gets in a lot of stuff that isn't his fault, and yeah.
But those two stage wins gives them 2 playoff points, which are so valuable. We've seen that they can carry him through, and I mean he's got to be a shoe into Phoenix, you'd think. But
oh yeah, I think it'll be just fine.
Yeah, but I mean, we've seen this in the past, so guys have been, pretty good throughout the whole year. Look like they're going to be aiming their way into the Final Four, and you have a bad round of 8. So, he's got to stay consistent. We've seen it out of Zane Smith before, so.
And the bubble battle here in general is looking pretty good with the trucks. You got Nick Sanchez 21 points out. You got Matt Crafton 9 points ahead of the cup line. Stuart Friesen's the first one out. So it's gonna be interesting to watch Stuart Friesen and Matt Crafton kind of battle and go at it. But really nobody's safe. Matt DiBenedetto's right there at the end too, 31 points to the good. Tanner Gray's the next one after Stuart Friesen. He's 47 out. Like, he needs to win. But there's a chance that Stuart Friesen could point his way through and be a playoff spoiler for a little bit. And he's no slouch.
Yeah, and we're going to a track where he's pretty good. He really likes them short tracks. So I think Richmond, he can point his way into another playoff berth. All right, guys, and then Nick Sanchez and Jake Garcia, the two that led the field to green, ended up colliding together, destroying Jake Garcia's truck. Nick Sanchez, he was still able to continue, but that just sucks, especially out of Jake Garcia, another guy who's just kind of cutting his teeth in the series. And he showed a lot of speed and a lot of promise throughout this race, but man, oh man, it sucks to get caught up in those.
Yeah, it just comes to the territory of these young guys at a track they don't probably often go to. That they're just, the inexperience is gonna work out. But Nick Sanchez has been really promising all year. He'll bounce back.
Yeah, definitely. And then, like you guys were saying, we had that big wreck with Zane Smith. Also included Parker Kligerman, Stuart Friesen, Lawless Allen, who just seems to be in every wreck in every race. Kaz Grala, who was stepping into that one truck, and Austin Hill stepping into the 7 for Spire. So collected a lot of guys here that could have taken the checkered flag. But it was Rowdy Bush that made the last lap pass on Corey Heim to get the 100th win for Kyle Busch Motorsports. I mean, that was the guy to do it, to get the 100th win. And what a way to do it, too.
It
was amazing. I mean, you didn't look like he had anything for him the whole time, and then you go back and watch it, and you're just like, oh, he was just sitting on that.
Yep.
He set him up perfect. And yeah, if there was one guy who's going to go out and make that move, it's Kyle Busch. He is one of the best. He is the best in the truck series. I mean, every time he goes down, you expect him to win. What is that, like his 67th win down in the truck series, I believe?
Something like that.
something crazy like that. But yeah, he set that move up perfect. I didn't think he had anything for Corey Heim either. But yeah, that's just that's a moment that Corey Haim's going to look back at. It's going to be like, yeah, he took me to school right there, but he's going to learn from it. That's the best thing to come from it. He's going to learn for it as much as it sucks. Yeah, you just got beat by the best dude to ever drive a truck. So yeah, but that's Kyle Busch for you right there. He's going to do it.
Yep.
I was happy. I was
Yeah,
happy.
I
Sure
bet
you
you were. All right, guys. So Rowdy got it done on Saturday morning, and we'll move over to Xfinity. Josh Berry won the pole, and he won stage one. Daniel Hemrick got second in the first stage, so definitely needed those points. And then Berry, he just swept the first two stages, but Daniel Hemrick, he was showing some promise in this race.
Oh, really? The last 3 weeks? I mean, 3 straight top fives. I mean, we're cooking at the right. We're peaking at the right time here. Last week, when he got the top five, that was the first time since joining college that he had back-to-back top fives. In the season, which is crazy. I backed it up with another top five finish. So yeah, we are in a really comfortable point situation now than we were 3 weeks ago, and just gotta keep going with this consistency here.
Yeah, good to see for Hemrick after having such a big slump start for the 11 car.
Right.
All right, and then we had a big wreck for Cole Custer, John Hunter Nemechek. Everyone just kind of piled up on the restart, took each other out, but pretty much took those two cars out of contention.
Yeah,
this is a track where those guys are always kind of lights out.
right. They should have shown up. They should have been better. But again, this track's known to jumble up the strategy, and it's these long straightaways with the Xfinity restarts. They got to be careful. I mean, second week in a row we've seen something like this, and this front stretch is a little more spread out, so you can avoid a lot of what happened, the huge catastrophe. But I mean, they're also not worried about it, sitting first and third in points. So like, they're not too worried about it. They'll move on. Yeah, it sucks they got a bad finish, but they'll move on, and
Yeah, they'll brush it off.
yeah, and I think John Hunter's going to be right back up there at Richmond, but they're not going to Richmond, so never mind. That was a bad take. They're going to a road course, which Cole Custer will be really good at. So
yeah, he's really good at Road America too. So
and John Hunter will probably be fine there too.
yeah, I'm sure the kid's just a good racer all around. I mean, we saw those two go toe to toe at Canada a couple of years ago. Let's just hope that Nemechek doesn't put him in the wall again. Alrighty, and we had a big battle for the lead on the last lap. Josh Berry was making some moves on Austin Hill. Sam Mayer decided to join the party, and old Josh Berry decided to door slam him. And Junior Motorsports is back in full force again, boys. They had a couple weeks off of not hitting each other, and they're back.
So Nick, last week I had talked about how this track was going to be necessary for a veteran and with veteran know-how to come ahead and take this race, to do strategy and all that. And I picked Justin Allgaier. And what does he do? The veteran runs into the rear of a back marker and brings out a caution that started the whole demise. And again, it's just like Junior Motorsports can't finish a race this year for whatever reason. And it's really strange to see. I mean, Brandon Jones is even up there. He's in an alternate strategy, but he was running in the lead for a little bit at the end, and none of them could figure it out. It was wild. It was so strange. And then Josh Berry just missed the first corner and just drove straight in the wall. Like it was weird.
Yeah, it's a mistake that I did not expect out of a guy like Josh Berry. But I got to tell you, who's probably most disappointed out of this, Dale Earnhardt Jr. You got cars in position for a Junior Motorsports car to win this race, and they let the 21 of Austin Hill get away and get this win. Yeah, this is just, like Ian said, Junior Motorsports back in full force. It's running into each other. That's just that mistake from Josh Berry. That's just one that I did not expect from someone of his caliber. But it happens, and yeah, but that's just a whole. I wonder how that competition meeting went on Monday. I could imagine how it went today. I can imagine a very unhappy boss man that they didn't get one of their cars in victory lane when they were the best cars all day.
Yep.
And poor Sam Mayer after the race, he did everything right and still got the short end of the stick there. And he even said it in his interview, and all the analysts were saying the same thing. It's just like the dude's gonna get there eventually, and sometimes it just doesn't fall your way.
Yeah, he's had a lot of bad luck come his way this year. I will say in the beginning, yeah, he made a lot of rookie mistakes, made a lot of dumb moves, but this year he's shown a lot of speed. He's showing race winning speed and
Good
just
decision making
yeah,
It's
good
just gonna
for
be
the most part. Yeah.
yeah,
it's
for
gonna
real.
be
It just ends up getting caught in someone else's mess.
it's gonna be a case of once that monkey finally gets off the back is
Yeah.
when he take off. It's gonna take one, and he's gonna have his day sooner or later.
The dam's gonna burst, and he'll be a 9 race winner season, like the next Noah Gragson.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we know the kid's good. All right, so congrats to Austin Hill. Cool to see that for him. This guy is just
He's ready.
ooh, yeah, he
He's
is ready for Cup, I would say. Yeah. And if he does end up going to Colleague Racing, we know Colleague is really good with the Super Speedway program. We know Austin Hill is really good with the Super Speedway program. So I think it's going to be a match made in heaven. I think he's going to
And
get boys somehow.
And Chevy has strength in numbers, and they know how to use it at those super speedways too. So it's
Oh, yeah.
it's a great spot all around.
Austin Hill, he just continues to kick ass. I mean, prior to this year, he was your super speedway kind of guy, but then this year he's starting to win at all types of racetracks beyond the super speedway. So he is really putting together one incredible season right now, and I would watch out come playoff time because he's going to be one of the guys I think is going to fight for a title in Phoenix if it all goes his way, which it should.
And champions know how to finish races. And Austin Hill did not have the fastest car this week.
No.
They did not have the best strategy, but
No.
a couple things fell his way, and he walked away with the checkered flag. And that's really telling of how his season has gone. It's even when you're not in the best stuff, if you can still put in good results and sneak a win in there every once in a while, that's really good stuff.
Absolutely, that's a championship caliber team right there. When you don't have the best car, not the best strategy, but you're still finding a way to park that car in victory lane. So yeah, I'd watch out for this 21 bunch for sure. Come playoff time, they're gonna be hard to beat.
Yeah, for sure, boys. Alrighty, so let's move over to the show on Sunday with the Cup Series race. We had William Byron leading the field to green, and Joey Logano won stage one, but pretty much right after that, we had Joey getting spun yet again on another restart pile up. Joey Logano spins, crashes, then he starts bitching at the crew to get him hooked up. Man, that was the most fired up I have ever heard Joey Logano. Oh my God.
Pretty much destroyed his car and his day from there. But yeah, that's just the strategy coming into play. He chose points rather than coming in, and then that's why he was mired back there in traffic, and that's where that came from. But yeah, he was pissed off because he couldn't drive the thing away, and then these guys who hooked him up, it just destroyed his car right there. So understand the frustration 100%. But yeah, he put himself back there in traffic because he took the points. But that's just what happens in these kind of races.
Yeah.
I mean, allegedly the hit to the wall did some pretty big damage. But I think, again, whether you like Joey or not, NASCAR's got to figure out how to get these cars back to the pit lane when they spin. Because, I mean, even if you used to spin in the Gen 6, you're not dropping all 4 tires.
Yeah.
So, like, that there's a bigger issue there. And sure, it's Joey Logano this week, which is great for me and Rowdy Nation, but it's Kyle next week for all we know. And it sucks that it's there. And that video, that whoever clipped that, A+, or you get to see a side of the driver that not a lot of people get to see. Like, again, he's not hitting it on the radio telling his team that's just a driver sitting in a fire resistant suit, in a helmet, in a hot car, not getting what he wants, and he knows his day is screwed. Yep. And you understand where he came from. It looks really bad. I'm sure the sponsors are going to have a word with him. I'm sure Penske's going to have a word with him, but you can't blame the guy. And it sucks. I mean, again, this is an independent NASCAR track. So like NASCAR doesn't own this. They have this event once a year now. These guys aren't doing this every week. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know that this car can't drive away. So it just all piles in at one point. And he knew he had speed. He won stage one. He knew he had speed. He knew he had an opportunity to do something with that day. And it just sucks that he couldn't.
Yep, got it all taken away there. But another guy who was involved was Daniel Suarez. Same time as Logano went around, Suarez had a tire go down, destroyed his car, pretty much ending his day. But that's another guy that we're starting to get a little bit worried here. Is every Trackhouse car is won besides him, and he desperately needs a win right now to kind of lock himself in.
He needs to finish race. He needs to put together some good races here. I mean, this was not the day that he needed. He lost points to the playoff, to the bubble. So, but yeah, he just needs to put together good runs. He does not have race winning speed. He's just not going to go out there and win a race without some luck or some crazy strategy. That's just how I see it. He just has to put together some consistent runs. Like we got to start getting some top tens out of him, and we just haven't seen that, which is really surprising because last year is when he really started to take off and he was running competitive almost every single week. But then even this year, like on the road courses, he hasn't shown up on the road courses this year at all, that was his bread and butter last year. Something's just not right. I would even say just with Trackhouse as a whole, they got the SVG win at that street course and Ross Chastain winning at Nashville. But other than that, they haven't really been. They haven't been they haven't been where they were last year, and that's just kind of surprising to see with how good of a season that they had last year that they're not having that the success this year. So I don't know, but yeah, for Suarez, they got to put together something here. He's only 23 points out of it right now, so it's still very doable. But he just does not have that race winning speed. He has to put together some consistent runs, and he has to finish races.
I like Daniel a lot. And he's great for the sport. He's great to have that international audience with us and represent something other than some good old American boy from down south. It's just, you wonder how long the Daniel Suarez experiment can last. And he was with Joe Gibbs, and he was forced in there way too young because Carl left.
Yeah.
Right.
And he was at Stewart-Haas, which who knows if Stewart-Haas was ever good or if they just had people like Kurt Busch and Kevin Harvick. Now with Trackhouse, and again, it's you wonder if it's truly the driver or if it's the equipment. But again, if you keep trying the same experiment over and over again, it's not, and expect different results. Who's the insane one? So like, I don't know. He's got talent. He's right there, but something needs to click, like you said. And this definitely didn't help. Honestly, I'm surprised to see him still so close to the cut line.
I thought he was going to drop many more points.
He can overcome this. He's got to show up, and he's got to show up at the road courses coming up because
he's got two of them coming up. So that's his chance right there.
Yeah.
Ground.
That or become the lucky winner at Daytona at the end of the regular season. Who knows?
And so I like Daniel Suarez. I'm not saying they need to drop him completely.
No.
No.
I think there's a place for Daniel Suarez in the sports, but somebody's got to give him something different, or he doesn't know what to ask for. He's right there. He can do it.
Yeah. We saw it last year. He won a race and he was
Quite
very,
handily
very competitive. Yeah. Yeah, he whooped some ass. But all right. Bad start of the day for Austin Dillon. He had contact with BJ McLeod, got turned around. So that's just the start for the 3-car. We'll get into the rest here in a little bit. Kyle Larson getting spun after contact with Christopher Bell, the two dirt racer best friends making contact. So yeah, Austin Dillon, Kyle Larson, rough start to the day, and it doesn't get better.
That portion of the race was excruciating. Was that right off the top of stage 2? Because then Joey Logano sat there for 5 laps of caution, which take forever. before he even got back to the pit, and then they restart, and what is it? Was that Larson's spin? Yeah, and then they did a couple more laps of caution, and then they restart, and it was Austin Dillon spin. It's like, come on, guys, get through turn one.
Yeah, they couldn't even get past turn one.
It was excruciating, and that took like half an hour, and it was just rough, man. And for one of those three guys that spun out there, worked out okay until it didn't. But for the rest of the race, the other two weren't able to recover.
It just felt like an iRacing lobby. That's how it felt.
I mean, my iRacing lobbies this week couldn't get to the green flag without wrecking, but that which is different. At least these guys are making it to turn one. But Austin Dillon needs to pivot his career.
Time to pack your bags, buddy.
You ask me that I think there's space for the sport for Daniel Suarez. I think there is space in a front office somewhere for Austin Dillon. I don't think he needs to be sitting in a cup car every week.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Well, just with the moves that he made for getting Kyle Busch into RCR, it shows that he's pretty smart with that kind of decision making, and he's not really smart behind the wheel here. So maybe it's time to make a career change.
Well, that's gonna be up to him. That's just gonna be all on him. He's gonna have to be the one who's gonna say that.
Oh, Pop's not firing him.
Pop's never.
Richard's not kicking him out of the car.
No way.
He's not Ty Dillon.
Yeah, right. All right, so we were saying Kyle Larson, he spun from contact, but he pretty much stayed out, did not pit, and he ended up winning stage one. Another guy who stage two?
Yeah,
was it stage two,
right?
Okay.
Because Joey was stage one, yeah?
Yeah, it was Joey. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So Kyle Larson won stage two. My apologies. And then the shit continues for Austin Dillon. Had contact from his old teammate Tyler Reddick, and then Austin Dillon got to show us how good he is at throwing helmets.
Yeah, F for effort right there. That was, you're gonna throw your helmet. You gotta make some contact, buddy.
We haven't seen a helmet throw in a while, so
time.
Thumbs up for that, I guess. But yeah, the execution wasn't quite there. Denny Hamlin, they just dropped Actions Detrimental a little bit ago, and I thought it was going to be spicy, and honestly, not the spiciest episode. So
pretty tame.
Yeah, I think Denny kind of felt a little remorseful for everything that happened. It just, his energy wasn't the same. But he did make a comment. He said they analyzed the helmet throw, and he said Pop's not going to like paying the $5,000 helmet bill for that. So because he left everything attached to that thing too. The Hans device is on there, and I'm sure those paint jobs that they put on those helmets aren't the cheapest thing either. So
no.
So it was fun. Again, that's the second time Austin Dillon this season that we know about has been upset about with another driver that he wrecked himself off their nose. So
I think it's just the season's worth of frustration. He's just like, man, I hate this right now. He's just
he's getting outshined by Kyle Busch. Just getting proven to the world how much you suck.
Again, there's a spot in the sport for Austin Dillon too, but I don't think it's on the track anymore.
No.
Because again, Kyle has shown that Richard Childress Racing has speed, and Tyler Reddick showed that Richard Childress Racing had speed before that. And there's been glimmers of hope for Austin Dillon, but way too many 27th and up place finishes
he's been mediocre
for that to outweigh itself. Like it's just,
he's been mediocre his entire Cup career ever since he came up. Yeah, he might be good. He's like a Brandon Jones. Like he might squeak out one win a season, but that just doesn't happen that often. I mean, what was his last one was Texas 2020? I think.
No, he won Daytona last year.
Did he win that race? Come on.
Yeah. The rain won that race.
No, he again, he'll always be a Daytona 500 champion. He'll always be a Coca-Cola 600 champion. Again, the other people like that are like Trevor Bayne, Jamie McMurray. The reason they're not in the race cars anymore is because their grandfathers aren't the owner of a team.
Right.
Yeah.
Those guys are analysts on Fox because that's where their expertise in the sport is going to work now. His expertise in the sport is not working on the track right now. He can't even tell if somebody held their line or not going into the corner.
Yeah.
Because that's, again, it's the second time this season that he's wrecked himself and been just so pissed off about it. And it just doesn't make any sense. And also, just personally, as a Kyle Busch fan, Kyle's probably giving a lot more to Austin Dillon than Austin Dillon's giving to Kyle.
Oh yeah.
So Kyle's going to want a teammate that can help elevate his game as well. And it's frustrating to watch Kyle, like these posts. If Kyle doesn't wreck every week or whatever, it's like Kyle finishes P7 and Austin Dillon finishes P32. Like, it's just, those social media posts are just excruciating to keep seeing.
Yeah. It's just Kyle Busch doesn't have someone that can push him to be better.
Mm-hmm. And then if you have somebody better on the team, you avoid weekends like this weekend where the car's not set up right.
Yeah.
And you can't ever make any gain. Like, it's awful. It's awful. And that's why everybody's talking about Kyle Busch being a championship threat. It's like, he's not going to get to the championship 4 at this rate. It's just it's so inconsistent.
Yeah, exactly. And RCR's short track program has just been terrible. So I don't know if you guys do end up going into the final 4. I don't think you're going to unload a very fast car at Phoenix.
Just in general, Kyle's not good at qualifying. And
yeah,
if you don't qualify well, you need a damn good pit stops. And we didn't have remotely good pit stops again. So, like, it's just, with these cars and the track position being so important, if you don't qualify well, you got to get a way to get up there. But if you keep fumbling the football on pit road, then you're never going to get up to the front.
exactly. Alrighty, guys. And so I guess 2 best friends here, Denny Hamlin, Alex Bowman, they almost make contact. They didn't make contact. Denny Hamlin just took the air off of the 48. 48 got loose and ended up into the wall, but it's just funny to see the kind of history that Bowman and Denny used to have, and that ends up happening. And then what ends up happening here towards the end of the race.
Oh, I'm ready to talk about this. Let's do it.
Denny, I mean, again, Denny's not doing anything wrong. He didn't even touch the guy. So, like,
No.
I don't see a problem with this incident. And yeah, the driver's going to feel something different because these cars don't have an edge anymore. It's just, you go from driving a line and then suddenly you're spinning. There's no warning that it's going to happen. So, like, I can see why Alex Bowman's upset, but again, with the track position and the lack of passing, if Denny knows that he can get a guy uncomfortable by getting that close to him, guess what Denny's going to do? Guess what anybody on that track's going to do? If you can get that close to somebody, you're going to get in there, pack air, and try to get him loose and whatnot. But no, this incident, this ain't it. Bowman fans need to calm down a little bit on that one. I mean, Bowman just lost it. And Bowman's had a frustrating season on top of whatever run-ins he's had with Denny Hamlin. So I feel like there's that also happening in Bowman's own brain.
Yeah, but it didn't stop there for Denny Hamlin, racing hard with his buddy Kyle Larson. Denny pretty much throws the same move that he pulled on Ross Chastain last year, drove the 5 up into the wall out of turn 1, and the 5 ends up in the wall, pretty much taking him out of contention. He showed his displeasure on the track and pretty much caused another controversial moment for Denny Hamlin, taking the reins as NASCAR's most hated driver from Kyle Busch.
Yeah, I tweeted out that Denny Hamlin is the new Kyle Busch, and people seem to agree with that sentiment. They're hating him to hate him. They're not really seeing what's going on in the different circumstances with this. Nick sounds like he got some ideas on this one.
People hate Denny Hamlin for a move he pulled 6 years ago at Martinsville. Those Chase Elliott fans refuse to get over it. Ever since then, people used to like Denny Hamlin. Ever since then, they don't like Denny anymore. But here's my take on the entire thing: is am I surprised Denny Hamlin pulled this move? No. I mean, racing for a win. Everybody's acting like he just flat out dumped him. No, he pushed him up the track. He got him uncomfortable, and he touched the wall. That's what happened. It's hard racing for a win at the end. Now, what I don't like is Denny going all around saying I didn't touch him. We made no contact. But then you
Denny
can see the
Denny
in-car.
doesn't believe he touched him.
He doesn't believe he touched him. I've seen so many these in-car cameras. Dude, there's contact. There's contact.
Yeah.
I will say
for
that
sure.
there's contact. So what I don't like is that Denny's going around saying, "No, it wasn't me. We didn't make contact. You can't wreck a guy if you don't touch them." No, they made contact, and I just wish that he's not going to own up to it. No, he's not going to. But
No.
you got guys like Kyle Petty, who's a joke, going around saying, that I don't like this move. Dale Jr. even thought it was a dirty move. He said that on his podcast.
Denny left more room than he normally would.
Yeah,
There was
Truex said
a
it was
lane
dirty.
and 3/4. There was a lane and 3/4 when they came to that camera looking at the exit of the turn. There was so much space. Kyle Larson doesn't. If Kyle Larson lifts, he doesn't finish second, but he also doesn't finish 21st.
Yeah.
He did not have to stay in that and keep in the wall. And like Denny said, if the roles were reversed, I 100% think Kyle Larson would do the same thing. Because
anybody do it.
and the example he brought up was in Actions at a Mental. The example he brought up was 2018 Chicagoland when he almost cleaned Kyle Busch's clock on the exit. I've seen videos on Flow Racing YouTube where on the dirt track, Kyle Larson makes the driver on the outside make a decision. I mean, he did it to Bubba, and Bubba got him back immediately.
Yeah.
So like,
well, yeah, this is.
I mean, he did it. He did it to his teammate Chase Elliott at Auto Club. He did it to him at Watkins Glen. Everyone is saying like, "Oh, Kyle would never do this." Kyle has a long list of him just using up other drivers. It's just complete bullshit. Like it's just because it's Denny Hamlin, and everyone just like, "Oh, fuck him."
And while this move looks bad, it's the nature of what this car is doing.
Yeah.
And again, he gave a lot more room than he gave Ross Chastain. Last year, he said, "I gave Ross a lane, one lane," and this year, again, there was room for maybe 2 more cars if they're all brushing sides out there. Kyle Larson did not need to run off. Now, if I'm in Kyle Larson's shoes, am I pissed? Hell yeah, I'm pissed.
Oh yeah,
like that sucks. And like, but it's the nature of this sport. Denny said, I don't know the physics of all this. Denny said Kyle missed the corner. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
They touched for sure, but it wasn't a blow to which drove Larson to the wall. They didn't slam into each other. They brushed sides, which I don't think sent Kyle into the wall. Kyle stays in the gas. Then he stays in the gas.
It's hard racing for a win, just like Kansas. And the people are pissed off because people hate Denny Hamlin. But it was tough to pass out there. He did what he had to do to win this race, and he didn't dump him like Kyle Larson's claiming happened here. But yeah, Kyle Larson, literally, the 2022 season was the Kyle Larson, I don't give a fuck about anybody on the racetrack tour, with how many incidents he was in. And then, most importantly, this man out here doing this to his teammate at Auto Club. So he's not innocent in any way, shape, or form. But Denny Hamlin won the race. He did what he had to do to win the race. Move on from it. Is Kyle Larson probably gonna maybe he gets it back? Who knows? Is he gonna drive? I think he's gonna be more aggressive racing against Denny Hamlin now, but that's just good for the sport. Like yesterday's race was another good race.
It was
for the
fantastic.
sport. It was great for the sport. Another good race. NBC ever since coming to NBC, Cup Series has just been on a roll with good.
We haven't had a bad race since coming to NBC.
There has not been.
We haven't.
One, so.
They've all been bangers. They've all been so good.
They've all been awesome, and this is what the sport needs. So you're getting more eyes on it, and Denny Hamlin's got to be the villain now. Denny Hamlin's got to be the villain. That's just what it is. He went out. He did what he did to have to win the race. So this
is how these cars race. And to quote my friend Kyle Busch, said, "If you don't like that kind of racing, don't even watch. Don't watch. If you're not if you're not going to get excited, like, I mean, we know, we all have expressed this sentiment. I mean, I like Denny Hamlin as a driver. I like him on the track. I like him off the track. I don't like Kyle Larson. I don't really have a huge problem with it. I just don't like him.
Yeah.
Never have. I don't think he's the prodigy that he's really talented. I don't think he's the prodigy that everybody stands out to be.
Thank you.
And but again, if these are two drivers that I don't even care about doing this is exciting stuff, and it gets us talking, it gets us riled up like this, and that's what we want to see about the sport. We want people talking about this, and we want these types of races to continue all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, last thing I just have to say is, yep, if the roles were reversed, the 5 car's a hero, everyone's cheering, happy day, happy day. So
Yep.
man, that anybody does that, if they're up there with the contention to win, like with just how hard it was to kind of pass yesterday, that was his one chance, and he took it, and he's in victory lane because of it, and we're moving on to Richmond.
I mean, watching some Kyle Larson interviews after the race, it was the dynamic of them being friends off the track was really interesting, just to hear how they talked about it. And Denny Hamlin does give off the energy that he is I'm the only one that can be right friend. So and I'm sure a lot of people have had friends like that where they can't win with their friends. So that's tough. The other sentiment that Denny said, which is what I kind of dealt with as a Kyle Busch fan for years, and it's finally been lifted off my shoulders, is that they don't care that you're booing. They'd like to see you cheer. They don't care. You're making noise, which means that you are having an impact on their fandom, whether you like them or not. They want, again, if you love you some Rowdy say boo when Kyle introed at Bristol. Like, again, if Denny's gonna come out and be like,
they eat off of that.
Boo me all you want, man. I won the race. I got the trophy. I didn't have tape under my car's wrap here this week. I got the trophy this year. You can boo me all you want because I know what I'm doing on the track.
Right.
Yep. I just think the funniest thing that came out of all of that was Ross Chastain coming out and tweeting saying it wasn't me.
Can we also talk about Kevin Harvick probably having Vietnam flashbacks?
Oh my God,
being right behind that situation again.
Yeah, got screwed,
because he slammed into Ross Chastain last year, and then this year it's like, oh my God, Denny did it again.
Yeah, Kevin was in the same spot, but oh man, that was close. But hey, good 4th place finish for Kev.
Good, yeah, solid.
All right, boys. Well, I think that'll about wrap it up for our Pocono review. We talked a lot here, but you guys got anything else to close off the show with?
I mean, Nick,
go ahead.
We got, just like we said a little bit ago, we've had such a good run of races, and it's been so fun to tune in each week. I mean, we had beef from 30th to 1st this week. I still don't even know what happened between Corey LaJoy and Ryan Preece, but we forgot to talk about that. we had Chase Briscoe getting spun in 30th place by, like, again, it was just everybody's getting their feelings hurt and putting on good shows, and it's competitive, and it's been very fun to watch. And I've also just thoroughly enjoyed being able to have a platform and with you gentlemen to come chat about it each week now.
This has been
fun. It's been so fun.
Hey, came in at the right time, Tom.
Yeah, this has just been such a, like Tom said, just a great stretch of races. And it's only going to continue to amp up here as we get closer and closer to the playoffs. So much more excitement is on the horizon. And that playoff bubble is just going to keep getting more and more exciting. And I'm just pumped to get to the track next week.
We didn't even talk about the points implications of this race. When it all came down to it. But you got Bubba sitting in 15th, Michael McDowell sitting in 16th. He's 17 points up. Then you got Allmendinger, Suarez, Gibbs, and Bowman and Elliott, all with a realistic chance to make some hay in this playoff.
Allmendinger for sure, because look at where we're going. We got 2 road courses coming up. 2 road courses that H. Allmendinger happens to be very good at. So he's the one that I'm looking at right now. He's gonna be the one. I think he's gonna win one of those. I do. I really do.
I think we're at a point with Chase Elliott too that he needs to win.
He needs to win. I think
Yeah.
Yeah, mathematically he can point in if he finishes second with everything, but
Yeah.
he's not showing that he can run consistently up front. So he needs to pull a rabbit out of his hat and go win.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be fun. That's all.
For
That's
sure.
gonna be.
For sure. For sure.
Oh yeah, gonna be a great next couple weeks for NASCAR till they hit Daytona and finish off the regular season. But guys, that will do it for our show here at the Stock Car Spectacle. If you haven't yet, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and make sure to like our video and subscribe to our channel. And we'll see you guys next time. So for the Stock Car Spectacle, I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Nick Kinsel.
And I'm Tom Hamlin.
We'll see you guys next time.